All right, let's get right into it. We're about to explore a film that is genuinely one of the most unsettling horror experiences to come out in years. But here's the thing, you need to forget everything you think you know about slasher movies. Because the monster in this film, it isn't trying to end a life, it's trying to start one.
Just let that sink in for a second.
You know, the scariest stories always seem to start somewhere completely normal, right? A place you or I could easily find ourselves. And this one begins right there, out in the quiet, peaceful wilderness.
So we're following our main character, Macy. She's just out in the woods, hiking, maybe camping, just enjoying that total isolation. And then, just like that, bam, that piece is absolutely shattered. She's violently taken and her entire reality is about to be ripped apart.
And this is where the real nightmare kicks off. See, her abduction wasn't random at all. She was chosen for a very, very specific and twisted purpose. And she's about to wake up in her brand new prison. Once she's captured, Macy becomes the unwilling star of this horrifying show. Her fight isn't just about getting out alive, it's a fight to hold on to who she even is. So she wakes up in this house deep in the woods, totally cut off from everything. But this is no simple cabin. The rooms are just filled with toys, dolls, and these weird, creepy, candlelit displays. It's like a twisted, grotesque mockery of a kid's bedroom. Which means Macy's whole objective has to change, right? It's not just about running from some monster anymore. It's about breaking free from the suffocating grip of this insane family that's being forced on her. Now, you can't have a great horror movie without a great villain. And the antagonist in Dolly is something else entirely. It's a figure that taps into a completely different kind of fear. Meet Dolly. It's this massive, hulking figure, hiding its face behind a cracked porcelain mask, and it never, ever speaks, which just cranks up the dread to a whole new level. And what's super interesting is the casting. It's played by the pro wrestler Max the Impaler, who brings this incredible, intimidating physical presence to the role. And this is the part that really sets this movie apart. Your typical slasher villain, their motive is simple: find people, kill people. But Dolly's goal is so much more disturbing. It doesn't want to kill Macy, it wants to raise her, treating her like a living doll and just chipping away at her humanity piece by piece. To really get the film's brutal, unfiltered style, you have to look at where it comes from. This isn't your polished, mainstream Hollywood horror. No, this is something way, way more raw. The filmmakers pull a lot from a style called New French Extremity. If you're not familiar with it, just think of it as horror with all the safety nets cut. It's famous for its raw, intense violence and a kind of deep psychological dread that just sticks with you long after the movie's over. Okay, so you can literally trace this film's DNA back to some 70s classics, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You've got that deranged family dynamic in an isolated house. And like The Hills Have Eyes, it's this brutal story of survival. But Dolly takes those ideas and gives them this horrifying twist, focusing not just on grit and realism, but on this suffocating psychological dread. So yeah, the movie is absolutely packed with gore and some amazing practical effects. But the real horror? It isn't just about what's happening on screen. It's about the ideas that crawl under your skin and stay there.
Which brings us to the big question, right? Beyond the mask and the jump scares, what is this story actually trying to say?
This is it. This is the core. The terror in Dolly comes from the idea of having your will, your identity, your entire being just completely erased. It's about the psychological agony of being turned into an object, a toy, where the real threat isn't a quick death, but a long, tormented life under someone else's absolute control.
And trust me, this film does not pull its punches. It absolutely earns that R rating, with graphic violence and imagery that is seriously disturbing. This is a movie for true horror fans, the ones who appreciate a story that isn't afraid to go to some very dark places.
So, I'll leave you with this one last thought. In a world where the monster doesn't want to kill you, but just wants to keep you forever, would you have what it takes to get out?